COVID-19 and the whole pandemic, we already knew that the global supply chain was not sustainable and that it was bound to be a disaster at one point. What this pandemic has done, it is kind of shining light onto all the cracks in the supply chain and all of the ethical holes that were already there. Retailers, they have to know where things are coming from. Like, in order to deal with what's happening with COVID, they're having to figure out where every single garment comes from, starting from the raw materials. Because a lot of retailers didn't realize our manufacturing facilities can no longer produce the capacity of garments that we need. And then you start to realize how many people and how many different entities are involved in the supply chain, which can be an issue in itself. I want to focus mainly on Bangladesh because Bangladesh is one of the largest manufacturing countries. They also represent where we have gone wrong as retailers in America doing business with other countries. Because the type of business that the US is doing with Bangladesh is not ethical. We're not really taking our partnerships seriously and not realizing that our two realities are drastically different. Concerns right now is things like losing sports or not being able to go to private beaches in Florida, having to stay at home with their whole family and their whole family is driving them crazy. A lot of people losing their jobs even. Yes, they have reasons to be stressing. Their stress and anxiety about this, worrying about this is very valid. But here in America, we have the means to provide them with the right things and resources to still survive despite losing their job. In places like Bangladesh, that is not always the case. And with millions of garment workers out of work, and if they stay out of work for longer than a couple months, if retailers don't step up to do their part, they might starve. Their families might starve. Already, so many garment workers are experiencing these kind of situations. They can't afford to social distance. Social distancing is a privilege. Good.
Okay. I think it might be good, I think for me to talk about what's really going on in the suppliers country. Everybody these days are having, difficult times. So
Yeah.
when it's hard to get the toilet papers at Walmart, it's so easy to ignore what's really happening, in the other part of the world. We all are stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
But, as fashion apparel people, I think there are something that we really need to look into. This is a good opportunity for the fashion industry because, Rana Plaza, I feel like it was 100 years ago already.
Yeah.
We already forgot that, both buyer country and suppliers country, including Bangladesh itself, they try to show the positive side. That happened, many, many years ago, and now we all are doing great.
Yeah.
Rana Plaza incident also, more than 1,000 people.
Yeah, it was
died.
1,200.
But then it was a one-time incident.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to recover.
Yeah.
But this current situation, nobody knows how long it will last. Most of the factories are closed because the Bangladesh government ordered that shut down. But then there are many things that are not officially reported, like the factory management asks the workers to come back to the factory, and if they don't, then they are laid off. All those things are happening again, and 4 million people, that's what I have here, number 4 million workers are laid off because of the situation. When more than 80% of the whole country's exports are depending on the garment industry, it's completely different story. And I don't think this is any new discussion because, since Rana Plaza and even before that, this discussion about the human rights in, supplier's country ongoing over the past 2 decades, but things have not been changed much, unfortunately. So you guys already know how fast fashion business model is working, and how little money the garment workers are earning, and how much money the big retail companies and brands here in the U.S. and those buyer countries are getting. Retailers, U.S. retailers, they are canceling the orders. For the upcoming season. So when I say cancel the orders, those are separate different layers of those orders. And the base of that order cancellation, like so abrupt cancellation, is what they call force majeure. These retailers consider this coronavirus situation something they couldn't control. So there's that clause in their contract.
Oh, there's like legal obligations with that.
So supplier has little power, little control, and a lot less chances. So they can't say that, so you cancel all the orders and for the next season we're not going to work with you. They can't say that. Responsible retailers should behave in a certain way. So one option that they could do, to be more responsible, they may be a little flexible with the orders that have been already placed. So given the situation, they may not immediately accept the orders, but they may delay the shipment, and still guarantee that they're going to accept the orders. So some of those big retail brands, they that they'll be committed to all the orders that they have already placed. I felt like yes, they should. It's kind of obvious. And if any of those brands and retailers want to go further and really want to help them out, they could pay for the raw materials that the factories have already purchased, but not have used. But that's really additional things, So far I haven't seen any brands that wanting to do that. I don't know. I read an article I think yesterday covering some questions about what the shopping mall, a typical shopping
it will be the same,
remain same after COVID-19. I don't think so. Would consumers be, behave, same after COVID-19? I don't think so. Hopefully through this, hardship, we can better, come up with a better, more sustainable partnership and sourcing relationships that we all can, lead together.
For me, if the pandemic has changed my career goals, it hasn't really necessarily, just amplified the issue and made it a lot more timely. Like, this needs to be fixed right now, or helping those factory workers where they are.
So this pandemic has completely shifted my future career goals as a college student. It's made me realize entirely how connected that the industry is globally, and the way that it actually impacts daily lives of people living in different countries. It currently has people starving in certain countries, how I would love to impact the industry and help work with companies that have the same goals as mine and share the same values, which, you know, ultimately is to make the industry better and be able to function under any circumstances that could potentially be like this in any time of the future, because this industry is never going to stop, and we just have to learn to manage around the worst times possible.
I think my career goals moving forward, I want to really focus on transparency and finding different tools and methods and ways that companies can be held accountable for how sustainable their products really are. One of the things holding back sustainable sourcing is the common language between the consumer and the industry. It is so hard for me to find this information. Like, it's really hard to me to figure out exactly where things come from across the entire sourcing. And I think it's kind of hard for even retail companies to understand where everything's coming from. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I hope that this has opened your mind and brought a lot of awareness to you. I'm going to be wearing a mask because I want the workers in Bangladesh to have better well-being, all of the factories to be opened, these economies to be restored, and I want this pandemic to be over so that we can focus on fixing all of the damage that has been done. And that's why I'm going to wear a mask, and that's why I'm washing my hands. So thank you so much. I have all the links below to all of the sources that I used, so go check those out. I especially recommend Clean Clothes Campaign, The Sourcing Journal, Fashion Revolution, and I'll be linking other ones below.